Hello.
Armored Core, my dudes.
Armored Core, my dudes, indeed.
Yeah, my Grundle is armored.
Your Grundum.
Yeah, your Grundum.
Grundum wing.
Lore Boys Online. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name's Ethan Palmer. I'm going to be hosting today's episode of Armored Core. With me is...
Peter O'Donohue. Get your free Lore Boys referral link in the description below.
And...
James Miller. I thought this was still a sound check.
I wouldn't have said all that stuff about blue people if I had known.
Pete, big fan of blue people. You heard it here first, folks.
Thumbs up. I have a picture shaking hands with one and everything.
And a picture of him washing his hands.
Shortly thereafter.
Welcome to the show. This is a lore podcast where we talk about lore of various video games and other things. I don't need my headphones.
I was going to ask why you're still wearing headphones.
Don't know why I was wearing them. I was like, you guys sound very quiet, but it's because I had big headphones on.
Really fucking professional, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm putting mine on.
You look like Howard Stern. Yeah. I'll put mine on.
Blissful peace.
Finally, I get to cut out these two fucking jokers. Get them out of my life.
Finally, it's just all three of us talking over each other because that's not normally the show.
At last. Podcast Nirvana.
Yeah, for anyone listening for the first time, we're a lore podcast. We talk about various cool things and cool fictional universes that we like or that are recommended to us. And this one is recommended to us from one of our patrons. He asked we do an Armored Core episode.
Are you saying that you don't like it?
I do like it. It's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit not fleshed out, and it's a little bit inconsistent.
Okay.
But we'll get into the how and why. It is a Fromsoft game.
Oh, yeah.
So it's about as unexplained as you'd expect coming from the makers of Dark Souls or Bloodborne.
Didn't it come out first? Is Dark Souls not technically from the people who brought you Armored Core?
Yes.
Oh,
it originally
there's
came
a
out.
Twist and a half.
Armored Core originally launched on PlayStation in 1997, one year before Medieval and Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
There are 50...
Before Medieval and Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
The same
You're
breath.
just complaining about shit that we didn't talk about on air. It's like a conversation we had 2 hours ago.
Yeah, there are 14 games total, or 15 games total is the note that I have written for myself here.
What?
Yeah, there's the 5 numbered Armored Cores, so there's Armored Core 1, Armored Core 2, Armored Core 3, Armored Core 4, and Armored Core
V.
Yeah. Yeah, there's those main 5, and then for each game, there's at least one spin-off where it's like Armored Core 4 Answers, or Armored Core Vengeance Day.
Okay.
Which is... Often, it seems there are continuations of previous stories.
They're like X-Packs more than anything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, anybody who wants to, who recommend us an episode or a topic that we could do, reach out to us on Discord. You can find the links on our webpage, theloreboys.com, or reach out to us on Patreon if you're feeling rich.
You're feeling generous.
If you're feeling like spreading some cheddar on these boys.
This one's from Woody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is Woody.
This one's for you, boys.
Yeah. So like I said...
There's a snake in all of our boots tonight.
Like I said, there's 15 games. The storylines amongst these Armored Core games are muddy at best, with no clear announcement from the developers confirming the timeline. So...
are they not even like chronological games? They just are all conflicts that have occurred in some capacity?
So they really feel like a lot of reboots of... Like a lot of retreading of the same ground.
Oh.
So like every game... Or every universe, which we'll kind of get into, has an event called the Great Destruction, which kind of like kicks things off.
Okay.
Or there's one exception which leads to the Great Destruction, but every single one of these has one. Every single game has one. So it really, I think what the developers were intending was just like, no, we're just going to use the same story and make another game. We don't have to make a new story to make a new video game. Again, very very From Software-esque.
Yeah.
So, as such, there's a ton of fan theories, which I kind of dip into a little bit here.
And you better fucking believe you're getting some Lore Boys candidate out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably end up happening, just because we'll just steal fan theories and call them our own or something. No, I'm gonna give credit mostly to Buster TBM on YouTube. He's the one. We're going to do a lead up into his timeline proposal.
Oh, so is he the lore hound for AC?
He's one of the more popular ones, yeah.
Okay.
So there's a couple. I did watch a couple videos. Most of them built off or referenced TBMs in some way.
Okay.
And said, like, these are the things that I kind of disagree with. These are the things that I kind of agree with.
Right.
But we're mostly going to lead up to why the timeline is a mess and why TBM has proposed a timeline at all.
Okay.
So there's a ton of fan theories. I've done my best to stick to the most widely accepted ones, with maybe a few exceptions. Timeline's messy. There may or may not be, but most likely are multiple universes, and it's all as frustratingly vague as anyone who's familiar with Dark Souls would expect.
I'm very familiar with Dark Souls, and it is quite frustrating.
Yeah. Especially lore-wise.
Yeah, where it's just like Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and then they kind of just like skip right over number 2 with all the important shit.
Yeah.
It's like, what happened in that game? Who cares?
Who cares? So, you guys don't have any familiarity with Armored Core.
What is a Armored Core?
I know what both those words mean separately.
Okay, go ahead.
Unlike vestigial.
That was a joke from before the cast. Yeah. So armored is like to have armor on it, and then core is like the middle of something.
Okay, sure.
I can't say I haven't played one,
Okay.
but I can't say I have, because I did play some weird mecha games at my buddy's place a few times. I played one called Murakumo, which is like super obscure and weird.
Okay.
That's another Japanese mecha game. I played Front Mission Evolved, and I played Chrome Hounds, definitely.
Okay.
I don't know if I've played an Armored Core, but I'm going to say it's a solid maybe.
It's a solid
I'm
maybe.
50-50 on the Armored Core.
Okay. I had never heard of them until Woody pointed out. So
Well, Woody was talking about how it's like got enough in common with BattleTech where that's what he wants, and I'm kind of horny for it now, so.
yeah, I mean,
Are they on PC?
kind of. I don't think so. I didn't. None of the ones that I saw were on PCs. There's
Darn.
a lot of PlayStation. There's 360. I only ever saw consoles.
Okay.
But maybe because like console marketing, devs tend to go a lot harder in it. So
Yeah.
it might just be that when they're using the thumbnails, they're grabbing that rather than the one that says Steam on it. You know,
Yeah.
or Windows Games Library or whatever.
DVD-ROM, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah. So I have no experience with the Armored Core games.
Up until now, at
they
least.
were Greek to me. But I did some research and I did some reading and I watched a lot of YouTube videos
And now you're an expert.
here we go. So for most of the games, it seems each main installation has its own universe, barring Armored Core 2. So when I say main installation, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4.
Numbered.
V. Yeah. Barring Armored Core 2, which is in the same universe as the original Armored Core.
Okay, they realized the sequel. They ran out of stuff. They got to 2, and they're like,
They're
all
like,
right,
"No,
start over.
Start over.
Yeah.
Just reset the timeline. Hit the reset button.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm building my framework off of Buster TBM's timeline, so check him out on YouTube if you really like what we're talking about here today. It's generally accepted.
You're welcome for the views, Buster.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome for our many, many YouTube viewers.
You're the next guy getting the Lore Boys bump.
Yeah. So it's generally accepted that the original Armored Core through Armored Core 2 and Other Age are connected. The first 5 games released from Fromsoft are part of what's often called the original universe. So the first 5 games span Armored Core 1 and Armored Core 2. And then there's 3 with subtitles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
So
pardon?
Armored Core 1 has 2 expansions and Armored Core 2 has 1 expansion.
Okay.
And so like those 5 games are lumped into the original universe category.
All right.
And these are basically none of this is confirmed by the developers. Okay? A lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about is like in-game canon.
Okay.
None of the connecting 2 games together is ever confirmed by a developer. So
It's all fan, like, conjecture.
I mean, a lot of it is like really, really on the nose. Like, yes, this obviously comes like Armored Core 4 and its expansion, Armored Core 4 Answers, are like very linear. All the characters are the same.
Okay, yeah.
But nobody's ever said like, yeah, that is the same universe. So
Yeah.
like the ones that are like a little more tenuous.
Nobody
are-
walks up to you and goes like, I fought with your father in Armored Core 2.
Yeah, exactly.
In the
Frustratingly not. Yeah.
In the 4th game.
yeah.
And there's no timeline, too, so they would just have to refer to something that was in the game.
My favorite thing is when video game characters refer to the past as the prior game.
Yeah.
Armored Core 3 and the following 5 games after that were considered their own universe. So Armored Core 3 and then the next, or 6 games in total.
Is there 5 X packs for that?
Yeah, exactly.
Holy Jesus.
Are considered their own universe. And Armored Core 4 and 5, they each have 1 expansion. or subtitled game were lumped together as well.
Okay.
So there's 3 universes: original universe, Armored Core 3 universe, and Armored Core 4 universe. And these are the ones that like pretty much every fan says, like, yeah, it's obviously a continuation of this storyline.
It's like a Zelda thing. Do they rearrange them at all to have like...
So, like, again, Fromsoft does none of that.
Okay, yeah.
But we are going to kind of look at a Zelda thing with timelines.
Okay.
One thing that definitely unites all universes, which I kind of mentioned before, is an event known as the Great Destruction. So we're going to start at where TBM supposes the timeline starts, because there's one game which starts before the Great Destruction in that universe, and all the other games start post Great Destruction.
Okay.
So,
well, that kind of means there is at least one game that can possibly be considered like required reading for any of the other games. There's like one mandatory game, and then you can play whatever the fuck you want.
Again, like, no, because like Armored Core 1 came out and it had its Great Destruction, and it just happened before. And I'll like, spoiler alert, the Great Destruction that is referenced in Armored Core 1 is not the same Great Destruction that happens at the end of Armored Core 4.
Yeah,
Even more confusing.
That's what I was thinking of. Like, what are all how like one of them is just okay. Enough time passed by that everything just faded away. One of them, it's someone put a small microwave inside of a larger microwave and turned them both on.
Yeah, essentially. So it gets pretty messy. But we're going to start with Armored Core 4.
Okay.
Corporations of the future
The worst kind of people.
prove to be very similar to corporations of today. They're keen on getting paid and don't seem to care who they need to ruin to get theirs. So various scientists at these corporations make a host of discoveries, as scientists do. One of which is robots. Robots, we know them, we love them. One of them cleans your floors, Peter.
Yeah, that's a stretch, but sure, yeah.
How is that a stretch?
I mean,
It's a self-driving machine.
No, it just doesn't clean very well.
no, it's great. It's fucking great for cat fur, yeah. I don't know, it just bumps into stuff and it can only turn right.
That doesn't make it not a robot.
I guess not.
You can build a robot to bump into stuff and turn right.
I passed the butter.
If that's its purpose.
Yeah.
What is my purpose?
Pass the butter.
So this is like the first big disparity I found between TBMs setting up the timeline and like what is canon according to the games.
Are you
And
calling him out?
It's not like, no, because it's not like incorrect. It's just like either like the facts in the game were wrong, you know, like they got it wrong, which would kind of make sense. It's very post-apocalyptic, like these things. So like information's lost, all that stuff. Information's lost, but never destroyed.
I'm still confused on to what the game actually is. You play as mechs?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's you play as a mech pilot basically.
Oh, okay.
And you
it's a
zoom
mecha
around
combat.
really quick. Yeah, it's mecha combat, very Gundam if you're familiar with it. It's very BattleTech if you're familiar with it. Although probably
Much faster than BattleTech.
Much faster
yeah.
than BattleTech.
BattleTech specifically is like driving a car.
Yeah.
BattleTech is like driving a mech that can bump into stuff and turn right.
Yeah.
Ew.
And doesn't clean very well.
Well, you fit a lot of cat fur into it. At least.
So in the Armored Core 4 universe, these scientists invent armored cores. That's what these mechs are called.
So
Okay.
they have pilots. They're not robots.
They have pilots. Yes.
Okay, cool.
They have pilots. They have the very Japanese ability to go human plus at times, which is when your mech gets like super powered, basically.
Sweet.
So in Armored Core 4, these scientists working for corporations invent armored cores. Well, in the original, it's implied that the armored cores came after the Great Destruction, which is like, first of all, really weird. It was like humans went underground because of the Great Destruction, and then they built robots underground to help serve them, and then those robots eventually turned into these like armored mech suits.
Okay.
Which is like, you already have the robots. Why don't you just let them drive the thing?
Yeah.
But in the Armored Core 4 universe, where we're going to start, where we're going to kind of build our canon off of, these scientists started the whole thing. It was an age of prosperity. You know, corporations were doing really well, had a lot of money going into these things, so why not? That kind of makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
So, and there's also even, like, I found even more disparities when researching Armored Core 1, where it was like, oh no, it's like an ancient technology that they discovered underground, and then like 4 paragraphs later, it's like, yeah, they're built off the robots that they had underground. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's whatever we want it to be, huh? It's elf magic making it happen. So, We have scientists inventing weapons, and the world undergoing a period of rapid growth.
Okay.
This rapid growth is putting a strain on food and energy supply across the world.
Sounds like my Friday night.
Okay. I get sleepy and hungry. As the population explodes, the wealth gap is riven even wider.
Bezos!
Yeah, exactly. He always comes back. We've got ancient futuristic robots and Jeff Bezos already. So.
Jeez, we gotta have him on. I think.
I'll tweet at him.
Yeah, we'll get in touch with him. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, would you mind coming on our show?
Our extra live stream.
So we can berate you.
Yeah. I mean, he's divorced now. He's got nothing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he'd want to hang out.
Nothing to do.
Yeah.
He can't be a very busy person. Honestly.
He wants to punch a couple tins with the lower boys.
Yeah. More than welcome. More than welcome. I will constantly berate him the entire time he's on the show. But no, it's fine. It's fine. He'll like it.
to the point where at the end of the night we're like berating him for things that aren't even possible.
Yeah.
Like blaming him for demon possession and shit.
That's it. Why didn't you define how they made armored cores more clearly?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It could have made so much more sense. Okay, you had to fuck this up for us, Bezos.
So he's number 3 on Lore Boys Bingo. You've got magic rocks, ancient robots, Jeff Bezos.
So
we're getting there.
Before long, violent riots and protests are breaking out across the planet. Governments across the world are doing what they do best.
Nothing.
They're being largely ineffective and reacting to a rapid change of needs, or any kind of real support systems for their people. So those people, those poor, tired, huddled masses, turn to the next best thing: the corporations.
It's very cyberpunk.
Yeah, I guess in a lot of regards, it is a pretty. It's funny. We'll get to it, but you can kind of read it like a real critique of like corporations, and I feel like you can kind of read it like corporations are doing the right thing, and like depending on the game and depending on like
That's
a lot
an
of the
odd perspective.
Yeah. So again, frustratingly ambiguous is I think the theme of this game and probably this episode, but. These corporations, now complete with private armies of highly advanced mech fighting suits, do what they can to take these people in and police them. So it seems like, hey, they're saying like, yeah, you know what, the government's our shit. Come stay on our headquarters or whatever.
Isn't that kind of like we'll be government for you
instead?
instead?
I mean, it seems like so. These corporations, now complete with private armies of highly advanced mech fighting suits, now ask themselves the question we've each asked ourselves before. What exactly is my government doing for me?
Building mechs, that's fucking rad.
You're not supposed to...
No, the government's not. The government has no mech technology.
Oh, excuse me, that's true.
It's only the corporations that have access to these terrible weapons.
But you're not supposed to ask that.
Oh,
You're supposed to ask what you could do for your...
Ask not what your country can do for you.
Yeah.
What? Or no, it's ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you.
Yeah, but the government's not the country.
Rip JFK.
Well, why isn't it?
Because they're just bureaucrats in charge of like maintaining basic aspects of the country.
Yeah, like make sure taxes pay for things once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And counterpoint or no?
Well, I don't know.
You're saying governments are countries.
I think they're representations of the country.
Sure. Yes, I'll give you that.
Because they also maintain the borders, so by default, that's like the thing that defines a country.
Mm-hmm. Whenever you go and have inter-country talks, you send a member of the government. You don't send the whole country.
Can we also consider that it was a member of the government who said that line? That's not what you could do. And that just sounds like a lazy politician, right?
It was JFK.
Stop asking us to do stuff. You guys do some stuff for once.
Hey, JFK seemed like a good guy.
Hey, I'm over here busy driving drunk and philandering with women.
Did you know, weirdly enough, he was the United States' first Catholic president?
Mm-hmm. I did know that.
Yeah.
Did you know Obama was the first black president of the United States? Yeah.
You know Obama smokes cigarettes?
What?
Yeah.
Did you know there's more pictures of Obama eating ice cream than any other president eating ice cream? But there are like hundreds of pictures of the last 5 presidents eating ice cream.
Oh, yeah?
It's like they're all powered by ice cream, basically. But Obama was fucking big into it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love me some ice cream.
Trump does, but he does it in like probably behind closed doors.
He'd probably be eating ice cream with like a fork, a knife, and some fucking ketchup or something. Like something fucking weird.
So, in our Armored Core universe, the 6 most powerful corporations decide overthrowing all the world's governments is the answer to their problems, and effectively obliterated them.
So this does I'm not gonna do this too much.
I missed that. Sorry. Did the corporations just destroy the government?
Yep.
Yeah.
They overthrew every single government in the world. The top 6 corporations.
Fuh. Yeah,
And they said, you know what I am going to do for my country? And get you the fuck out of here.
yeah. Get rid of the government. Make sure everyone's eating Frito-Lays.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just thinking, like, not to make, because I don't want to make this comparison, because again, we were streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/theloreboys, and we're going to be, if you're listening to this on launch, streaming again this Saturday. Dak made the comparison in chat between Armored Core and BattleTech. The Armored Core corporations with their private army of piloted robots is very, very Comstar.
Yeah, very, very on the nose. So, in less than a month, all the world's governments surrender, like the lily-livered cowards that they are. The corporations quickly...
Lily-livered cowards.
Lily-livered cowards. The corporations quickly established what they called Pax Economica, economic or corporate peace.
Oh, I was going to say it's PAX.
A system where loyalty and service to the corporations guaranteed food and survival. So,
Click here to know more.
yeah. Just drink Pepsi Cola and you'll never go hungry. Of course.
The food pyramid is just like all Pepsi colored with bubbles.
Yeah, it depends what country you're living in.
Yeah,
It's either like Pepsi and then like what do they own Frito? I think Frito-Lays and Pepsi together. So like, there's the Frito-Lay chips.
So
Whereas
there's
like you have the Coke and you have your Fanta section of the pyramid. And, yeah.
In Mexico, Coca-Cola is drank more than water.
It's because it's cheaper, right?
Just about.
That's fucked up.
Clean
It's-
water is hard to come by.
Yeah, it's a similar price, and you'll get stuff with calories versus something with no calories.
You know what? That was your mistake when you got those fucking intestinal amoebas. You should have been like, "Oh, make me spaghetti, but boil it in Coke."
boil my pasta in Coca-Cola.
People put like a dash of sugar in their spaghetti sauce, right, to cut the acidity.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can do the same thing.
You know what I do? I put a stick of cinnamon.
A stick of cinnamon, yeah? Oh, that's something.
I only eat pasta.
What?
I only eat pasta with butter, the way God intended.
Oh yeah,
Eat
butter
like
noodles.
some skitty and butter.
Eating butter. So, of course, as time goes on, it becomes clear that these corporations are not interested in making a socialist paradise for the denizens of this brave new world.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah, I
Hang
know.
on, let me get some fucking Foley work here of me slapping my cheeks in awe.
Jamie, pick that job.
The thing is, though,
Off the
guys,
floor.
you don't know it at home, but Peter just pulled his pants down and smacked his own butt cheeks to get the real clappy noise.
Well, that's what they in the movies. Anytime you see Kevin McAllister in Home Alone, there's actually a man just off camera slapping his butt.
Yeah, well,
to make the sound effect.
In the same way, the fight scenes are fake.
Yeah.
you can't have a child smack himself in the face.
No.
So it's all angles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
See if we can get Macaulay Culkin on. He's got a podcast now.
Yeah. So the working class were turned to slaves as pollution rose, and the food and energy shortages were not made better for your average Joe.
No.
Wow.
Big surprise. So they're like, yeah, thanks for supporting us in our revolution.
Shrugs
against
and
the government,
proletariat.
guys." Yeah, exactly. Thanks for supporting us in our revolution, guys. We still control all the resources and these armies of mechs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you're our slaves now. Thanks.
Fuck.
Yeah. Back into the Pepsi mines.
You got like old men coughing out Pepsi into rags.
Yeah.
So with the mining pig, tink, tink, tink. Just like the noise, like, I struck Pepsi. You know?
Smell that sweet carbonation, boys.
There's your episode title right there. I've struck Pepsi.
We've hit peak Pepsi.
God, I would love to draw that, but it wouldn't make any fucking sense.
Just a miner like filling up a mine cart with nougat, like send it off to the Mars factory.
Well, I mean, we've had some BattleTech episodes where the images don't make any sense at all. Like that frozen horse in space.
We had a Destiny episode where one of the Guardians was in a red lobster fighting the lobsters broken out of a lobster tank.
Yeah, the cops were about to
The
shoot him.
policemen trying to stop. I don't think any of our episode, or any of our placeholders or place cards make sense.
I do my best to make sure that it is complete nonsense at all times.
So the events of Armored Core 4 take place during what's known as the Lynx War, where you play as a mercenary mech pilot.
LY or LI?
LY.
Okay.
Yeah, LY and X.
Like the big cat.
Like the big cat. Well, a medium-sized cat. Where you play as a mercenary pilot.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Mercenary mech pilot for sale to the highest bidder. The corporations picked sides. On the good side was GA America, Rosenthal, Ekbal, while the bad side had Ray Leonard, Akvevit, and others. I mentioned those two because those are probably the most relevant. So,
Ray Leonard sounds like such a lame bad guy.
It's actually the name of the corporation. It's like
Oh, yeah.
Ray Leonard Incorporated.
They sound like
Okay.
they make toner, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. They definitely make some radiation, but we'll get into that.
Oh.
They make
Um,
white paint.
Yeah. the world's largest white paint supplier.
Down in the white paint mines.
Yeah. So it doesn't take long. The corporations take out the governments, and they decide, like, well, I want more. Let's go to war with the other corporations and try and take what they have as well.
I mean, that's very apt.
Yeah. So there is a quote unquote good side of the corporations, the GA America, Rosenthal, and Ekbal, like I said, and then there's a quote unquote bad side where you make the bad guy decisions.
There's 2 campaigns.
So there's one campaign, but you unlock different missions based on how you kind of complete other missions.
Okay, so there's a Coke and Pepsi campaign.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's a Coke and Pepsi, and surprisingly, an RC Cola campaign.
What?
Yeah.
No way. Unlockable?
The RC Cola campaign is full blown crazy.
I was gonna say, did they just sell it for 99 cents on Steam?
No, yeah, it's a mini game that's just basically reskin Pong.
Yeah, Gattaca, but
Rescue Sprite or Rescue 7-Up.
yeah. So while the good side fought the other bad corporations, Ray Leonard and Akvavit got ready to roll out their latest and greatest devices, the next model Armored Cores.
Akvavit?
Akvavit
Akvavit, okay.
What?
is the name of one of the corporations.
Oh.
And they're rolling out their fresh and shiny Armored Cores.
Yeah, so there's basically 2 types of Armored Core in Armored Core 4. The normals, they're called, and they're like the bad guys that like stand still and like shoot at you while you like zip around at half the speed of light, and they're just standing there like, stop it, you!
Oh, I see, okay.
They're
Yeah.
like super clunky, and then there's bosses who also have next mechs, which can like fly up and down and go side to side. And
Oh, okay.
are
That's actually fucking
actually useful.
really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting a little horny right now.
Yeah, you
Peter's
like
chubbing. Peter's chubbing.
I'm chubbing pretty hard.
For
Yeah.
everyone listening at home, Peter's full chub right now.
Or I was when we recorded. It's Wednesday now. I'm probably
Still,
probably like half chub.
half chub now. Yeah. It takes a long time for Peter to wind down. Let me tell you. Don't get him horny. So the 2 groups had formed Kojima Technology, a breakthrough in mechanical engineering which used something called Kojima particles to develop mechs which easily and rapidly outpaced their normal predecessors.
Is
Nothing to do with Death Stranding.
real no, and is Hideo Kojima involved with these games at all?
No. Not as far as I know. It's Fromsoft.
All right.
It's just...
That's odd.
Is it? It might just be like a name.
I mean, probably.
Like it might
it's
just,
his name at
like,
the very least. Fuck.
There's other Millers. There's other Palmers.
I don't know about that.
There's a lot of Millers. In Red Dead, someone who did the art direction was named James Miller.
When I was
So-
on jury duty, like a guy I went to high school with was there, and his name is also James Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I added. There's a bunch in Montreal. I added one in our hometown. He's just like a better looking version of me. He got the good genes.
We
He
should
travels all over the world. His beard is magnificent. I'm like, he's peak James Miller. I'm
Something
I'll take-
to aspire to.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We should kill him.
So these two groups, Ray Leonard and
I'd be in
Akvavit.
so much trouble if that other James Miller dies tomorrow.
Oh yeah. No, because we're releasing on Wednesday. We'll be like, how could we have known?
Yeah.
Akvavit, sorry.
Akvavit and Ray Leonard, they discovered these things called Kojima particles, and they use them to develop next model armored cores. Armored cores which can go do super dash moves and can make swords out of energy and have energy shields and stuff like that.
I know the
Nice.
Moonlight Greatsword is in this game.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
They
that.
put the Moonlight Greatsword in basically everything. As far as I know, the first FromSoft game, which we may have said in the past, is Kingsfield,
Okay.
and that was on the PS1. It was like Ultima, basically. And
Okay.
the Moonlight Greatsword's in that, and they've put it in most of their games since then.
That's a Dark Souls sword for those of you who are
Yeah.
unawares.
Well, it sounds like it's a sword from this game. Not
It's
from
actually
Dark
like a Kingsfield sword, which
Yeah.
it happens to be in Dark
the
Souls.
reason why we are like saying, oh yeah, is because
Yeah.
it was in Dark Souls.
Yeah, because I am familiar with the Moonlight Greatsword from Dark Souls.
It's very good on an intelligence and dex build. I'll have you know.
There you go. Kojima particles. They're versatile. They can be used for defense or on the attack. They solidify in the cold north. They can be used in powerful energy weapons such as lasers or swords, or as a dynamic shield.
Cool.
The one teensy little drawback to them is that they are completely deadly to everyone outside the next model.
Okay.
Kojima particles, while being a dangerous pollutant, are also highly radioactive. So it's just like an open nuclear core like strapped to the pilot's back, and he's somehow shielded from it.
Because he's inside the armored core, I guess.
I guess it doesn't make any sense. But
Okay.
it makes no sense at all. There's no amount of Lore Boys canon in the world to patch this hole. It's just not how radiation works. Is really what it boils down to.
Yeah, radiation goes in one direction. He's got his backpack is unzipped on the other side. So that's where it goes.
It's all pouring out the back. So they're like pretty cool. They form the shield, and like when you dash in game, you're like the front of your shield like glows.
Cool.
And it's like because like it's your dash is like compressing the Kojima particles of your shield into each other, and they're like getting slightly irradiated, and so they're like glowing
That sounds
like
awesome.
on that side. Yeah. So it's like they took the time to explain that, but not how the pilot is safe.
Well, that's why your dash looks like that. Sweet, cool. What about me?
Yeah.
Who?
I didn't think of you actually.
Maybe they just aren't. Maybe
Maybe they just succumb to radiation poisoning in mere seconds.
Yeah, you have a bunch of
Yeah.
like thin, bald pilots, just like we got them, guys.
Armored Core 3-2 chemotherapy.
Yeah.
It's a fucking
Radiation
It's a long
sickness.
fucking game.
Yeah.
Long, painful game. So during the National Dismantlement War, which was the war of the corporations against the government,
Yep, put that
So,
together. That's a good name.
dismantling the nationalities, I guess you could say. I guess if you considered a government a nationality, and if you
Well, we
considered
estab-
a nationality a country, then dismantling the nationalities.
Yeah.
All right.
What's so different between someone who lives on the border of Quebec and New York, honestly?
I can tell you someone who lived on the border of Ontario and Quebec about double tuition price.
Well, I
when you
mean,
go to school.
I was going to say, that's
Yeah.
totally true, because I went to school in Ontario and Quebec.
Yeah.
It's half price for me here.
It's fucking free in Quebec, basically.
So during the National Dismantlement War, contamination levels were very low due to limited next action in the short one-sided conflict.
So a next is a specific model, basically.
Is any of the updated models, any of the updated models which use Kojima particles.
Okay, cool.
To power them, or to power their weapons, or to power their shields, or to power whatever. Anything that uses Kojima particles.
Give their pilots cancer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So during the dismantlement war, because it only lasted a month, what few necks there were at the time weren't used very heavily, and even then, it was mostly normals during the war. But during and after
Normals.
during and after
Normies,
Fucking
get out
normies.
here.
Yeah.
Ordinaries be gone.
Normies wouldn't understand.
It's like, I want to pilot a normal because I'll live longer because I won't be irradiated, and then you're just like standing there like a scarecrow basically on a battlefield, just like this guy zipping all over, just blowing up normals. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
That might be good art.
A guy with a bubbling face. Normies don't get it.
His like nose falls off in his cockpit. Oh my god.
Unlike the video recorder that like always pops up on your screen in these kinds of games, like they like in Star Fox.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. So during and after the Lynx War, which was between the 6 corporations which were ruling everything, or
Yeah.
I think it was 8 at this time, but massive Kojima contamination caused the Earth's surface to be extremely polluted. For instance, areas such as the Kitasaki Junction and the Old Clark area have undergone complete desertification, making it uninhabitable for human life.
I know where both those things are.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. Not absolutely not.
They're not.
Those could be fucking in Middle Earth as far as I'm concerned.
They're irrelevant names. We can say they are in Middle Earth. We can say this whole game takes place in Middle Earth because the actual world is never specified. It's never called Earth.
Okay.
It's just called the planet mostly.
You know what this kind of reminds me of a bit is Ace Combat,
Okay.
which
I'm not
is
familiar.
a Japanese flight sim air combat game that
Okay.
that like takes place. I know there is a country in one of them called like the Kingdom of Ameria, and it's just American jets versus like
Yeah.
it's off-brand America and off-brand Russia.
Okay.
Ace Combat would be a good one.
Yeah.
Put a pin in that.
Put a pin in that one. Somebody tweeted us because Peter and I especially forget what we talked about on the episode.
We're big dumb idiots. Yeah.
We remember the content, but not the jokes or specific things like that.
Nope.
I'm the opposite.
So we have this war between corporations. A lot of next action right now. A lot of them using nexts to try and win. The GA America on the good side, they have like a subdivision science group which managed to like they managed to take down one of the necks and they managed to reverse engineer it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Guys, I gotta say, I just had a stupid thought. I was like listening to Ethan talk. I'm like, this would be a cool video game.
It finally happened. It finally happened. Oh my god. So stupid. You know what, Jamie?
I guess so.
You know what, Jamie? I dare say this might make a good 15 video games.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if we can get that much out of it. We'll try.
No, we'll do 5 and then we'll just restart it again.
I think it's because I've never played this one. And the last time we were talking about anime, so I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kojima radiation tends to reach far and devastate wide as well.
Like normal radiation.
Yeah,
But we're not talking about normals. We're talking about necks.
Well, no, like
Or some shit.
way more. Like
Okay.
way more than like Chernobyl. Because like Chernobyl, like the open core, if you stood a mile away from it, you'd be fine. It doesn't reach a mile
No,
away.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Unless it's like seeping into the water or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I always thought it went a little farther than that.
No. I mean, maybe a mile, but yeah. But I don't think that far.
the
some
vault
nuclear
life,
physicist is going to correct me on that one. But
If we've got a nuclear physicist
physicist,
in the audience,
a nuclear pediatrician.
Yeah. If we've got a nuclear pediatrician in the audience, please do tweet at us.
Yeah.
Tell us how stupid we all are.
Yeah. So in one of the missions in Armoured Core 4, the protagonist has to shed their next suit before getting within even several miles of a town. Again, how does he just get out of it if people can't get within several miles of it?
He like puts on goggles. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm good now.
Goggles and a lead jockstrap.
Yeah, exactly.
Got one of those aprons you get at the dentist.
Yeah. Just like shuffling around. In it.
What an apron! That's
He's got to back away from it for 2 miles.
Yeah. So really carefully.
Don't trip.
That would have been a good opportunity, though, to if they had to go through some sort of trials, like The Witcher, going through the Witcher trials.
Oh, the trials
that
with grasses.
They can withstand things after that, right?
You got to drink radium for 4 weeks before you're allowed to pilot one of these.
They make you masturbate all the time and test you oh, he's still fertile, he's good.
So throughout the war, the Lynx War, dust pollution and radiation devastates the world. With the Earth in radioactive shambles, people were forced into the sky, where they lived in great floating cities known as cradles.
It's the Jetsons.
So, no, they're actually floating.
Oh, not on big sticks.
No, they're floating, they're suspended by engines.
Oh, cool.
Like airship engines. They're powered from the ground by these things referred to as Arteriums. They're kind of like arteries.
Okay,
So
cool.
there's a central one, and it pumps the blood of energy into them. And they have backup Kojima particle generators, which they can use in case of emergency. So basically, if the power to those is cut, the Kojima particle engines will land them have just enough power to land them safely,
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good idea to have it's if you've already destroyed the Earth and your backup generator is just a reactor.
Yeah.
It's what do you got to lose? You might as well. Fuck it.
Exactly. So they're the main generators are on the ground, and then they have backup ones
Cool.
in them. So I know what you're thinking. If they're headed up to the sky, why not keep going to space? Colonize the moon or some shit.
Wait, are they all on one planet up until this point?
I think they call it Earth.
Oh my god, I've been picturing them
Yeah. So this is
flying
all
around.
this is all Terra. This is all taking place on a planet. There's one game which features space, and we'll get to how they got there. That's kind of how we wrap this episode up.
Okay, cool.
So why not colonize the moon? Why not go to space?
There's no Kojima contamination.
Oh,
There's no
at present.
Nope.
But God willing, we'll get it there.
yeah.
It's just like a glowing green sun.
Yeah, Kojima particles need air or something. You need air to make a fire. Or,
Radiation doesn't need air. Radiation can travel through space. That's
Okay.
why. That's how you can get a sunburn.
Yeah, that's why we have an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Just to
Well, I'm
stop
trying
that
to
from
see
happening.
why. Tell me why, Ethan.
So the corporations, those good guys that we know and love, they had thought of that too, of course.
So they put a blanket on the whole planet so nobody could get out of it.
I mean,
Colonize the moon, TM.
I mean, they had taken steps to install the assault cells, unmanned hovering weapon platforms, which would prevent any single corporation from gaining access to space. So rather than having a space race to see who could get to the moon first,
They have a kill race to keep people on the Earth.
they all said, fuck that, nobody goes to space. We're all stuck on here, okay? As they're like slowly turning up the thermostat.
Yeah.
Like just like, no, we're all cooking in here, buddy.
It's like a sauna. They're just like, I can take it. Can you take it? And he's like sweating.
Yeah.
He's just sweating fucking bullets.
Which this feels like so on the nose with what's going on with global warming right now. And
Yeah.
like corporations
Yeah.
just ignoring it. It's just like so that. you
Just
know?
like playing chicken with the
with,
Earth.
Yeah, with all of mankind. Like I don't get it.
There's like kind of some parallels with like nobody will shoot off an atomic bomb in this world.
Well, yeah,
because
that's MAD.
It'll
Yeah.
set off all the other ones. So like no one goes to space because it's gonna destroy it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So
I don't know. They might be able to breathe clean air, and we don't fucking want that.
So these assault cells completely block the path to space, which, now that Earth is a stew of violent radiation, is becoming a problem. People want to go to space now.
Obviously.
They're like, first they were like, nobody needs to go to space. It's fine down here. Then they're like, holy shit, it's like an oven in here. We gotta go to space, guys.
We got to open a space window.
But nobody can get up there. They all forgot their keys. They put the assault cells up there. They put like all of them up there. When they were putting the last one up there, they like shut the door behind them and they're like, oh shit, my keys. They realize like the keys for all the assault cells is like locked in the last one. Like, oh, son of a bitch.
Just got like one guy knocking on the screen door, just
Yeah.
like, I don't know how to fucking get through it.
He did the thing with the coat hanger for a while,
Yeah.
and then he was just like, screw it, it's my lunch break, and he goes back to Earth.
And then he died of radiation poisoning mysteriously, so he never went back for the keys.
Yeah, exactly.
Something so funny about like an astronaut in a full suit, like high tech everything, using a coat hanger to try and get into the.
So Armored Core 4, most of the game kind of takes place like as people are moving towards these cradles, these cities in the sky.
Okay, cool.
And there's like, I think there's about 100 million people in the sky at this point. Like, Earth's population has already been devastated many, many times.
Well, with the radiation.
With like a ton of radiation, a bunch of starving at the beginning. You know, we got like open warfare between mechs for the last God knows how many years. So like smaller numbers, and like now they're moving everyone up into the sky. And then kind of when that ends, I honestly do not know how Armored Core 4 ends, because I kept looking up Armored Core 4 ending, and it just gives you the Armored Core 4 answers, which is the expansion for it. It only gives you those endings. So it almost seems like it was like always intended. Like it seems like a cliffhanger ending or something like that. Like
yeah.
it's not a real ending, Armored Core 4. I don't know, because I could not find it. I kept looking up Armored Core 4 ending, and I just kept getting the endings to 4 answers.
Right.
And they would often say the YouTube video would be titled like Armored Core 4 ending, blah, blah, blah. And then it would be like 4 answers.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it's DLC. I don't think they're actually, like they don't seem to be actual expansion packs. They seem to be standalone games. But to all intents and purposes, Armored Core 4 kind of just ends, or doesn't end, kind of just like you do missions and then eventually the game's over and then they wrap up the story in the expansion.
I think you mean
seems really hard.
intensive purposes is what you meant.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'd agree.
So we have the so now we're going into Armored Core 4 answers, because that's kind of
Okay.
where the impression
Yeah.
I got where 4 ends. I haven't played
It's
the game.
4 2.5.
This is the name of the game.
HD remix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the name of the game. Armored 4 Answers.
Armored Core 4 answers, not FOUR to make it even more confusing, but like FOR.
What?
So why do you
Oh
ask
my
questions?
God.
Why do you ask questions? 4 answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's a very Japanese title.
yeah, I mean, it does feel like they were translating it. They were like, shit, we need a pun with 4 in it. And they were like, just do this or something, you know?
Is there a number in the title, or is it just Armored Core FOR answers?
It's Armored Core : 4 answers. The
Okay.
the keyboard, the type : not not a large intestine.
Oh, that shocks me.
Yeah.
Both that and the spelling of 4 shock
Yeah.
me. So in Armored Core 4 answers, we have the League of Ruling Companies, which is like the EU but corporations.
Sounds like the most evil thing.
Right? The League of Ruling Companies.
Could you could possibly fucking think of the most evil thing on earth.
Lork. Lork is kind of like evil.
Yeah.
Little
Lork.
Lorkish.
Yeah.
So the League of Ruling Companies insist that everything is fine the way it is. We have Orca, which is capitalized ORCA,
It's an acronym.
but it's not an acronym.
Okay.
They
Never
just-
mind. Sorry.
After the whale,
Hell yeah. We got Lork and Orca.
Lork and Orca. These guys are shady terrorists working to complete something called the Closed Plan, and then we have our RC Cola, Old King, a genocidal maniac intent on destroying the cradles and bringing an end to that pesky thing we called mankind.
Well, let's hear him out.
So,
Play devil's advocate for a second.
League of Ruling Companies will be our Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Orca will be our Pepsi.
And then RC is the...
Old King. His thing is really just, he wants to blow everything up.
Okay.
So we will talk about him a bit, but there's a bit more meat
He's
in
the
the other ones.
Mentos.
Yeah. The Mint in the Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
So the game's 3 endings. It
Okay.
has. Each aligns with one of these factions.
I was going to ask if you can choose a side. Yeah.
That's exactly how it happens, based on the missions that you choose to complete. Because you'll always get a mission. It's like, oh, defend, this point, and then you'll get a mission from another person saying like, oh, go destroy that thing. So you can choose which side of the conflict to be on.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
And that's going to lead you to different endings.
These do sound fun as fuck.
The Orca ending has the player defending the anti-satellite cannons, which are cannons that they think can be used to take down the weapons in the sky that somebody locked their keys in. So we have cannons specifically designed to shoot down satellites, and they're like, Orca's like, we can get to space. All we got to do is blow those things up. So the ending has the player defending those cannons, and then redirecting all power from Arteria Cranium to power them. So Arteria Cranium, like I'd said, arteries are kind of where the power comes from to power the cradles. So in order to take down the satellites, stopping people from leaving Earth, you have to cause all the cradles to land back on Earth and in the radiation, and hope that their backup generators actually do kick in the way they do.
Okay.
So you're basically condemning everyone on the cradles to radiation poisoning by choosing to destroy the satellites and maybe get to space afterwards.
Okay, yeah, it's you're getting people sick for a minute in the hopes that you can save them later.
You're exposing tens of millions of people to the Kojima radiation, but ultimately opening up the path to space colonization. Hopefully, TM.
Yeah.
We have the potential of having that real problem where we can't go to space anymore too because of the number of
trash.
satellites. And if satellites hit each other, they break up into little tiny pieces.
Way more, yeah.
And then every one of those little tiny pieces, since it's in space, have enough force to destroy another one of the satellites.
They're traveling at like 100,000 kilometers an hour.
And it can set off a chain reaction that basically makes so many particles around the Earth that it's impossible for us to fly out.
Yeah.
And there's no good ways to clean these things up. And so that could be our reality.
God, I can't
What about
wait
a
to
giant-
be entirely encased in a storm of broken glass.
What about a giant butterfly net?
Ooh.
Or like a skimmer that you use in your fish tank?
I
actually forgot to buy one.
Peter.
I got a month.
You need a magnet that doesn't get destroyed when it gets hit by something 100,000.
Imagine like a big butterfly net that's just the hoop with like 4 huge rockets on it. They just lost it.
Just instantly destroyed, and then the net's just floating up there too. Like, son of a bitch!
Damn it!
How are we supposed to get out of a net?
And all these things are like little particles too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like they're just going right through the net.
The space shuttle like crashes into it, gets all tangled up, and like all the guys inside are like just panicking.
So that's the Orca ending. That's the closed plan. Is the plan to
This was Pepsi. Are these the good guys?
kind of morally ambiguous. You're like, do you expose tens of millions of people to Kojima radiation in the hopes that you can get to space? And like, who knows? If we can do it, if we will do it, all these other things.
Yeah.
What's the best way to go here?
Right.
The reason they want to do it is because one of the leaders of Orca says the Kojima radiation will eventually catch up to the cradles in the sky. Like it's going to keep filling up the atmosphere because it's left unchecked. So
does it not have a half-life? Because I don't think that's actually possible.
We've given up on the science of radiation.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Again, not enough Lore Boys canon to make this a thing.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah.
But whatever the cause, maybe there's like still generators down there kicking off. Like I'm sure the corporations didn't stop when they realized everyone on Earth was dying. I'm sure they were like, well, whatever. I guess we just keep mining, right? Like,
Yeah.
Get back in those Pepsi mines, you son of a bitch.
We've struck Pepsi.
Yeah, they drill a hole and then they drop Mentos down to see if it overflows, and that's how they know that they have Pepsi.
So it only works on a diet well, though.
Yeah, exactly.
A Mentos tipped drill.
Yeah.
It's like BP oil. It's like BP is big peppermint.
Or Big Pepsi.
Or big Pepsi.
Yeah.
Mentos drill. It can cut through anything.
So we have the Orca leader who's like, we're still drilling down there. Eventually, all this radiation is going to catch up with the cradles in the sky. Like, we're not going to be safe. Everyone's going to die. We have to do something. We have to get to space. We have to get off this planet.
That's kind of weirdly conscious, except for the fact that they didn't stop doing anything, because the problem was, it's just like, oh man, if we keep drilling, we're eventually going to contaminate the atmosphere itself. And it's like, did you want to stop?
Yeah.
And he was like, what?
People want their Pepsi. Do you want people to go cold, not without a good, nice,
Sipping
refreshing
from a
Pepsi?
pint with 2 perfectly photogenic ice cubes in it.
Yeah.
It's like, pardon? Like, and it's just like dewy.
Yeah.
With Pepsi sweat.
So Orca says we have to stop this, and the corporations are all like, nah, we're fine. That's not going to happen.
Exactly.
That's not gonna, you guys are in the sky now. The sky is safe. Radiation can't get to the sky. Radiation can't climb. Radiation doesn't know how to fly. Come on.
Yeah.
So the League path.
Every reaction has an equal and opposite in action. That's what people say, right? Like, so you're fucking fine.
So the League path, and honestly, when I first read it, and this might still be the case, this does seem like the good ending.
Okay.
Which is why I say, like, it almost seems like kind of like corporations aren't that bad at times. Because the League path has the mercenary defending the League of Ruling Companies against the Oracle forces to preserve the cradles, or so the corporations lead you to believe. It seems even some members of the League are like, well, no, this is crazy. We do got to get people off this planet.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Well, it's their own self-interest, too.
Also,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, they, my corporation can't survive unless we get off this planet.
That's it,
So
yeah. I can't survive unless I get off this planet,
Yeah.
and I put stupid guns up there to stop me. So I'm gonna throw waves and waves of mercenaries at the guns until they run out of ammo.
Yeah.
So
Is that suicide, technically? If you put them up in space and, like, try and eject later because you realize it's like a stupid...
I think that counts as suicide.
No.
Definitely a Darwin Award.
It's not,
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's not suicide, or else car crashes are suicide just for being a dumb driver.
Yeah, I mean, that's assuming you don't get hit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think if you put something up with the intention of not killing yourself,
Okay.
then eventually it is going to kill you.
I guess,
That's
okay.
not, yeah.
So
More boys canon.
Yeah. So it seems even the League or some members of it is intent on eventually accessing space, as many in it believe what Orca is preaching, that the Kojima radiation will eventually reach the upper levels of the atmosphere and kill all those resting in the cradles. Despite learning this, our bright-eyed protagonist opts not to be the hand directly responsible for the quick death of millions, and defends the cradles and destroys the anti-satellite cannons, leaving them to die slow deaths in overcrowded sky cities.
Wonderful.
So it is kind of this weird thing. It's like, am I the one to like kill these people and like send them back down to the earth, or like do I let them live out their lives? I live out my life. We all go into that night together.
It's the sweet good night ending. Mm-hmm. It's definitely the most like I haven't heard of the third one yet, but it's like the least extremist, where it's just like, okay, we're all just gonna die at home.
Yeah,
that's all.
Everyone, hug your loved ones. It's gonna be a long one.
Snuggle up. I hope someone discovers you in 10,000 years as a spooning skeleton.
Yeah. Nobody will, because everybody will be dead.
No, that's so messy. Oh, we're running low on food now. Okay, only the richest and smartest can have food, because if we have to repopulate, they can have it.
Eat their pets.
Yeah.
So the third ending, RC Cola, or Old King. Is the name of the guy who's like who's giving you your missions and telling you to do this.
He sounds crazy.
Old King is like a crazy name to give yourself.
It's a crazy name to give yourself. Yeah.
We have people like Laser Wolf and stuff like that. He's like, no, I'm Old King.
Yeah.
He's basically just this ending is the protagonist bringing an end to it all in the name of genocide, destroying the cradles and not activating the anti-satellite cannons. So he's just like, I'm gonna bring the cradles down and also not let anybody leave. And like this is an ending where you can just like kill the population of the Earth, or so it seems.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
So this is where TBM's fan theories really find their stride. And where the real meat of this episode, I guess, can take place. We talked a lot about Armored Core 4, you might have been thinking. For an episode which is supposed to propose linking all the timelines, we sure have talked exclusively about Armored Core 4.
And Armored Core 4 answers.
Yeah. So you're right. But it was all set up for the multiple endings, which, as everyone knows, definitely creates alternate timelines, right?
Yeah.
So this is the Ocarina of Time. Armored Core 4 is the proposed Ocarina of Time, where the timeline splits different ways.
Sick, okay.
And can canonize the other games outside of the Armored Core 4 game.
All right.
So each of those endings The Coke ending, the Pepsi ending, the RC Cola ending.
So wait, give me Coke was
League of Ruling Nations, or League of Ruling Corporations.
Pepsi was
Orca, the terrorists.
No, but I'm saying what are the endings?
So Pepsi or Coke was he doesn't do anything. He lets everyone die slow.
Right.
Pepsi was he shoots down the satellites and people are going to try and get to space, hopefully eventually.
Okay.
And Old King ending was
RC Cola.
He tries to kill everybody.
Oh, okay, got it.
So
I would have switched Coke and Pepsi because I like Coke more than Pepsi. But
there you go.
There you go.
There's your biases showing through.
I'm more of a Pepis man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beepus.
Beepus, yeah.
So each of these endings leads to a different Armored Core game according to TBM.
Okay.
After the League ending, so the Coke ending, the prophecies come true and Kojima radiation eventually does reach the cradles in the sky. So they all say like, well, nothing doing up here, boys. Let's go back to the surface, I guess. They go back to the barely inhabitable surface, and this leads to Armored Core 5. So Armored Core 5 takes place in like a very devastated, very desolate...
Post-Coke world.
Exactly, post-Coke world.
Armored Core 5, New Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. The Orca ending doesn't lead to a peaceful life in the stars, but instead leads to the 30 Years' War. All those greedy corporations, it seems, weren't content with just making sure mankind survives, but each needed to be the ones to actually make them survive. So
another like aggressively altruistic, and they're like waging war to be the most
altruistic.
Yeah.
They're sending waves of men's lives into the churning maw of mortality in the name of being the most altruistic.
Yeah, but
saviors of mankind.
Wow.
So basically, Armored Core, the setup is it's
this
like
being the first one,
the original game. So
Okay,
this
so-
original universe,
the OG is now post Pepsi timeline.
post Pepsi.
Okay.
The original Armored Core starts with the Great Destruction, like all the other ones.
Yeah.
The Great Destruction came at the end of something called the 30 Years' War. And this is canon in the original Armored Core game.
Okay, excellent.
It is TBM canon tied to Armored Core 4 in that way, being the Pepsi ending. It's never stated anywhere that this is like an official continuation of that.
How long
that
did the
timeline.
war take, though?
It's unknown, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way to know. There's no way to tell.
Okay,
28 years, because
Yeah.
historians are fucking terrible at naming things.
Although I think that's a real thing. The 100-Year War was like over in 36 years or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's also like I'm paraphrasing like a historical thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
World War II wasn't even the second war ever.
yeah.
yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
And World War I was called World War I before there was a World War II. So
Yeah, but they set themselves up for
they
that.
did set themselves up for this.
The Great War.
That's what the Treaty of Versailles was. It was it was sequel planting.
Yeah, that was the after credit scene for the war. You
Treaty
stick
of
around
Versailles.
after the war, you watch the Treaty of Versailles, they're like World War
You see,
One.
you see, like a camera just pans to Germany's hand and it twitches.
Sam Jackson is Kaiser Wilhelm.
So as far as I could tell, this 30 Years' War did not feature a dynastic, heavily inbred empire intent on preserving their grasp on things, but it did lead to even more irradiation of the surface, eventually forcing mankind underground to avoid it.
Okay.
So they were above ground.
Is Metro 2033?
They were forced down by the satellites. Before we could get space travel, corporations, I guess, started to bicker with each other, and it just led to more war, and we got more radiation, and people were like, well, sky didn't work. I guess we try basement now.
But ground, though.
Yeah. And the 30 Years' War is an actual war, and it was in like the 17th century, I think. And it was the Habsburg Empire.
All those inbred weirdos.
Those super inbred weirdos. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the biggest support for this theory, that the Orca ending leads to the original Armored Core universe, in my opinion, is probably that Armored Core 2 does take place in space to some extent. And it's the only Armored Core game where you ever go to space.
Cool.
You end up colonizing another planet. I
neat.
don't know if it's ever named Mars. It might be, but you do end up there is a colony on another planet, or it's either Armored Core 2 or the Armored Core 2 expansion, or like sub game.
Okay.
I don't know what the proper terminology for these titled games are, but there is one where it's the only game where you go to space. So this is the only ending that could have led.
Where the
to
satellites
this.
have been shot down and people managed to get past them.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and that's Armored Core 2 or Armored Core 2.5. So it's the fourth or fifth game.
Okay, yeah.
After the Pepsi ending.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're still Orca / Pepsi.
The good
at
ending,
this time.
Exactly, yeah. So finally, the Old King ending with the player character going insane and destroying everything leads to what I think is TBM's, this YouTuber's, greatest conclusive leap. After the player destroys everyone and everything, there's still some people who band together and take him down. So like that's the only way it works. Is like he decides to genocide everybody, but isn't supremely effective, I guess.
Like 99%.
Even though the game kind of ends and like heavily implies that it was. And then like there's enough like normal people around to take down this like god king in his next mech.
And enough like functioning next robots as well, eh?
Yeah.
He's like, he used the Purell to get rid of all the germs, but the 0.1%.
That 0.1%. That's why you have to light the Purell on fire after you put it on your head. The flames kill the last 0.1%. Kids don't do that. So TBM.
Yeah, the lore boys do not endorse lighting your hands on fire.
So
Or Purell.
there's a flashing subtitle right now, but you just can't see it because it's a podcast. So TBM then supposes the Old King ending itself is the lead into Armoured Core 3, and the genociding is the Great Destruction event in question.
Okay, so the RC Cola ending is the inciting incident for Armored Core 3.
Exactly.
Okay.
I actually skipped over it too, but so Armored Core 5, the Great Destruction, is definitely the Kojima irradiating, and that's why like they're in the same canonical universe according to the developers, or like according to most people, except that 4 and 5 are same universe, because the Great Destruction event, all the games have a Great Destruction event.
And
Armored
that
Core
being
4
the Orca ending, correct?
That's the League ending. The
so
Orca
that's
ending.
Coke.
The Orca ending, the Pepsi ending leads into the original Armored Core. That destruction event was caused by a weapon, an orbital weapon called Judgment, which just like rained down heavy radiation as well. So it's implied like
That's a great name for an orbital weapon.
Judgment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So like that was when
Better than the Hammer of Dawn.
yeah,
Fuck
exactly.
you. I swear to God, Jamie, I'm so sick of your shit. I'm coming over there.
So the original Armored Core, they said there was a 30 Years' War, there was a Great Destruction. It seemed like there was almost a second Great Destruction after the one in Armored Core 4.
Okay.
Where the original Armored Core, it was 30 years later, after things were already irradiated and shitty, they made it even more irradiated and forced people underground.
Okay.
So that's that Great Destruction event. And then the Genocide, which is the Old King ending, could be the Great Destruction event for Armored Core 3.
Okay.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Cool.
We're trying desperately to piece all these 15 games together.
Yeah, exactly.
I just realized like the Hammer of Dawn and Judgment are both like Paladin Crusader type like names.
Yeah.
Very, very holy. Very, very biblical.
Very holy. Yeah. I guess because God is in sky.
Yeah. And
God is in Sky.
And that's, I think that's a good place to stop. I had a bit more, but I maybe we'll save it for another Armored Core episode. If you guys liked it, let us know.
I did, yeah.
I hope you, Woody, Dak and Back, I hope you liked it, because this was all for you, baby.
Yeah. Make sure in the next, if you're listening to this on release, this upcoming weekend, we have an Extra Life stream. Mm-hmm. We're here right now. We're not in the normal studio. We are in Ethan's place because we were setting up. So come hang out. We're going to be streaming for 16 hours. We're going to play a bunch of cool games.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah, hang out.
When are we starting? Do we know?
We're starting.
I'm going to try and start early, so I'm going to try to start 6 a.m. EST, I think. So
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
try and get some of those European viewers in.
But-
I'll show up shortly thereafter. I'll set an alarm.
Yeah, I'm going to walk my dog over. We'll have a dog cam.
And a feet cam.
Yeah, let us know if there's any games in particular you want us to play, because we have this week to sort of prepare. But
We've heard from some of you.
yeah.
We're going to ignore some of you.
Yeah.
Others we will listen to.
Heard from some, ignored others.
Yeah.
Ethan, you're
It's-
eating a chocolate cookie. That's
On-
not good
on camera.
podcasting.
You know what, Jamie? I didn't realize I was doing it. My body was fully autonomous when it grabbed that cookie and started eating it. Let me put that down. It's not that we don't. If we don't end up playing a game that you recommended to us, it's not that we don't want to play it. It's that we do have a limited amount of time. We do have games that we are keen on playing, and there's other games which we just like. We don't know, or we know we won't be good at. So it's like we just don't think it'll be a very entertaining.
Bad
game.
TV.
We'll do our best to be entertaining in other ways.
I'll take my
I
pants
did-
off.
I have an oversized mallet, which I will be hitting them on the heads with, like a cartoon.
If you came to the test today, I did Fortnite dances because we had dead air. So.
That's true.
Yeah, I tried. I failed, though.
Yeah. So we're going to try and iron out the kinks and make sure we don't have dead air next week, obviously.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. I have been Ethan. I have been your host. This has been a Lore podcast. You can find me online at Ethan the Deadman. You can reach us, loreboyspodcast at gmail.com, at loreboys, at loreboyspodcast on Instagram, facebook.com/theloreboys,
Patreon.com/theloreboys.
/loreboys. We have a Discord link. I'll post it all over the place. I'm going to be tweeting it out. I'm going to be
I'll have
Instagramming
it
it out.
tattooed on my collarbone.
Yes, just come find me and ask me to see my collarbone. I'm not going to take a bite.
I'm gonna get a QR code. I'm gonna get a QR code between my.
All right, we
between
gotta
my
finish
nipples.
this thing up so Ethan can eat his cookie.
Yeah.
I've been Pete O'Donohue on Twitter. Peter O'Donohue in real life. Again, I do the artwork for the Instagram and all that shit. I'll be streaming. We'll be there. It's what's gonna be the date exactly?
Great question.
That's going to be next Saturday,
15th?
which is
16th? 16th.
November 16th, 2019.
2019.
I'm James Miller. You can find me on twitch.tv/The Lore Boys next weekend and later on. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not really on the internet.
Mainly, though, if you want to support us financially, which I think is really the most important thing, we have Lore Boys Prime. And Ethan, I think you have. I say this every week only because your ingenuity knows no bounds. And I think we have probably the best Lore Boys Prime offer every week.
You know what? I'm going to say this week definitely tops all other offers.
Yeah.
This is something that people have been asking for that people really, really want.
Stop eating that cookie.
So wait. We have a benchmark. We're going to need $50,000 a month from you guys. But we're gonna make it worth your while. It doesn't have to be one of you. You guys have to band together, produce $50,000 a month, and we promise no more eating on the podcast. If we can hit that benchmark of $50,000 a month, we promise
Yeah.
we will. None of us will eat on the podcast anymore.
All right.
I'm not going to eat any more saltines.
Nope. How's that dry mouth beer?
I mean, it's hard to talk with.
Don't eat all those. Ethan's trying to buy a house.
I'm trying to buy a house here. Stop wasting my saltines. Thanks for listening, guys.
All
That
right.
constitutes
Hey, Lore
Lore
Boys.
Lore Boys.
Stop eating.
out.